Elder Joy, welcome to Club IDIC's first annual Gratitude Festival. Enjoy this evening. Elder Joy, Jake.
Hey, sorry, my audio is not muted. Okay, there we go.
Elder Joy.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks.
People seem to be busy or running late or something. Well, it's the holidays and, people are busy, and my mom wanted me to run more meetings during the holidays, and, if there's going to be people busy, I might not do that. But how are things? So tonight's theme is gratitude.
Cool.
What are you grateful for, Jake?
My kitty.
Your beautiful kitty. Yes, your beautiful kitty. Your beautiful, beautiful kitty. I recall you telling us the story about your kitty a while back. That's great. Kitty's so precious. Are you excited for Fascination, or have you seen it?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's been a while since I watched it. I know that this one has Luxana Troy on it, right?
Yes, it does. We love Luxana.
Yeah, it was funny because I think I was watching like this final season of Next Gen, and then they got through the season 7 episode with Luxana, and I was like, I could have swore she mentioned Odo, but I did like a little bit of research on it, and it turned out to be in a book. So I was
Yes.
like,
Yes.
so I was like, I guess I was getting the book or getting a book mixed up with some episodes, I guess.
No, actually, I think there's a point where they actually get married for the sake of interesting reasons, but we may watch that down the line. So. No, you researched it? Wow.
Yeah, because I was like, I could have swore Luxana mentioned Odo to Deanna, but
She might have. I don't know what we hear off screen. Obviously, she had to tell her daughter that she married a changeling at some point, right?
Right.
Kind of shocking that Deanna didn't make a guest appearance on that episode. I'm very shocked that she didn't invite her own daughter to her wedding. Why not?
Well, that'd have been a nice little tie-in cameo.
It would have been nice, but it probably would have cost some money.
Yeah. Well, because I know they got Jonathan Frakes on for I think other than Worf, that was the only other cameo.
They had Brent Spiner, I believe, because Julian and Data had some scenes together.
That was actually in Next Gen and Birthright.
Oh, was it? Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
See, you're the expert, and I'm very grateful you're here because you research things and you have all this this knowledge in your brain. Your brain should be on display, like seriously, in a museum exhibit.
Oh boy, that's creepy.
Oh, well, I'm weird. I'm not going to apologize for that. Nah. But so the episode of Fascination and the Gratitude Festival, I thought we could have a gratitude festival of our own. And I picked today just because it's a reasonable day before all the Christmas parties and things start. And It's a Friday, and so gratitude and fascination. And so what are you grateful for besides your cat? Are you grateful for work, family, what?
Oh, she's like, she knows she's being talked about.
Hi, kitty. Gorgeous cat. I assume you're grateful for Star Trek because you've done so much research on it. You follow a list of episodes addictively. It's like, wow.
Well, yes, I'm grateful for Star Trek, grateful for my job, grateful for like all my friends, family, grateful for these meetings.
Thank you.
They get me, they um, get to have some interaction with like other Star Trek fans, which isn't very often. So.
Oh, someone's happy. I can hear her purring. Yeah, and gratitude is great. And in this world, I mean, I thought that COVID would help people be more grateful, but it's sadly brought out a lot of worse than people. All they do is complain about things that others are doing to help keep them safe. Like they don't seem to like that they're being asked to wear masks or get vaccine. They don't seem to appreciate all the hard work that people are doing to keep them safe and protect them. All they want to do is fight.
Yeah, I've been trying to make sense of it, and I don't know. It's kind of hard to. I don't know why. I don't know. I've heard different theories from different people on why that is. But I haven't really heard much. So I know my dad. He had a incident with somebody that goes to a church. I guess the person like approached it because I guess they were like in Walmart and my dad was wearing a mask and the person like approached him and was like, why are you wearing a mask? You shouldn't be wearing a mask or something. And it was like, and the person was like, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not getting vaccinated. I'm not doing any of that other stuff.
Well, I personally wear masks and I get vaccinated so that I can resume normal life. I don't want to get sick or die because I do have a health condition. It's not a serious health condition, but it's probably one that's going to be with me for a while. And I don't know what would happen to me if I got sick with COVID because of a health condition. So I choose to be responsible. I mean, the health condition really doesn't. It's not like cancer or diabetes or anything like that, but it's still a health condition. So for my sake, I choose to be responsible and I'll get the booster when it becomes available to my age group in my area. Yeah, I mean, but my premier, the premier of my province is wanting to open up restrictions so he can have a comfortable Christmas. Never mind everybody else, right? And that's the irresponsibility. And I suppose in a way this episode does deal with, there was a sense of irresponsibility when somebody should have noticed that Roxana wasn't feeling good by that everybody was doing and such. Somebody should have noticed the symptoms instead of being all wrapped up in the merriment of the festival, right? And they should have put her in quarantine or tested her medically. That was on them. That was the neglect of the society. That should have said, hey, she's not feeling good. Why don't you go test her out, Dr. Bashir. Instead of running around making merry, do your job. And that's how it became a bit of a pandemic, and the pandemic created a frenzy.
Mhm.
And I suppose you can relate that in a way to what COVID became, because everybody didn't do their jobs quickly enough. I mean, the pandemic moved quickly, but response could have been better than it was. And how many have died because of it?
Mhm.
Anyway, what are your thoughts?
Mm. I don't know. I wasn't really, I don't know. I'm not a researcher or medical person or scientist or anything. So I'm not sure how qualified I am to judge really. So.
I don't know. I just have thoughts on it that things could have been done bits and pieces differently, and perhaps, I don't know, it's just a really distressing situation that we're still dealing with in 2021, and this happened and started in the beginning of 2020, and maybe even before, and we didn't know it.
Mhm.
And we should be grateful for what we do have, but we also have to reflect on what we've lost and hope we don't lose much more because of irresponsibility and the level of irresponsibility and fascination. It just makes me think of, we have to remember what we have and hold on to it and treat it with respect so that we don't lose it.
Mhm.
Yeah. But the Gratitude Festival itself is very interesting. We don't have any of the fancy things or any rooms or anything. We just have each other, and we just have Star Trek, and I love for it.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I have this fancy little, I suppose it could be a Bajoran robe. I'm surprised you didn't say anything when you came in.
Oh yeah, I noticed it. I just didn't say anything. I'm sorry. So yeah, it's cute. I like it.
Thank you. It was gifted to me by someone who attended Star Trek Las Vegas in 2017. I was a worker then, and this woman
Mhm.
would come by dressed in it every day, and she would tell me about it. She'd stop by every day at the Tribble station and tell me about it. She'd tell me she made it, and that I would
Mhm.
talk to her about, oh, I'd like one, and try to negotiate her into making one for me and my mom, because this kind of resembles a caftan, and my mom's obsessed with caftans, and it absolutely looks like something I would wear too. But
Mhm.
on the Sunday night of the convention, like, when everything was wrapping up and the bands and stuff were playing their last hurrahs and all the fans were going back to the room and stuff, and everything was wrapping up, this woman stops by, this woman named Jerry Whiteacre. I'll use her full
Mhm.
name for reasons I'll explain in a minute. She stopped by and handed me this folded up thing. She said, I want you to have this because you liked it so much, as a gift. Gave it to me off her bag. It was a gift. It was a beautiful gift. And I use her full name now because it's sort of a in memoriam. Like during the pandemic, she became very ill with a terminal illness, and she didn't make it. And I've only worn this once before. It was during a music video with my Triple Farm. But I have held this to every move since I got it. And I keep it hanging in my closet for her. And I wore it tonight because it looks Bajoran and it's appropriate to wear to a gratitude festival. And I had planned to wear it.
Mhm.
So rest in peace, Jerry.
Yeah, rest in peace. That was a beautiful story. Thanks for sharing.
And I'm very grateful. Thank you, welcome. I'm very grateful that I have this piece of Bajornware, and I didn't do anything with my notes because I'm not going to draw on my notes. I'm more of a Cardassian anyway. But yeah, it makes me grateful for cons and the people you meet there. And because then, like, when you volunteer at cons or work at cons, you're allowed to take pictures even when you're working, because most of the fans are so excited to have you in their pictures. Even when you're working, it's like, can I hold your prop, or can I take a picture with you? You're so cool, da, 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 da. And usually they'll let you. So you end up with about a 900 or 1,000 pictures by the end of the week. And then you get breaks to eat or to walk around or just to stretch, because 14, 16-hour days are long days. And then, like, you eat your lunch at your station, and then you can use the breaks for walking around and seeing everything as fast as you can. You go on speed walks. So you really end up with a lot of pictures. and you get little photos with stars with your phone at the booths, because they do that, and it's fun. And you get breaks for photo ops too. So yeah, I'm very grateful for Star Trek cons, just because you get to meet all sorts of fans, and I mean, not just the stars, but fans too. You get to see all sorts of cool cosplay, and you get a lot of love from the fans. Like, when I was working, I'd have fans offer to bring me water and food and toys and cat calendars and all sorts of stuff, because they were all worried that I was working too hard and didn't get enough to eat or drink, and they all wanted to feed me and hug me and love me. And the celebrities were always saying hi and hugging. And I think it was either 2016 or 2017. No, it was my first year. Like, I was walking around helping set up, and Gary Lockwood, like the dude who played Mitchell on TOS, he was having a bit of an upset. And I offered to get him a glass of water, and he turned his attention on me. I, honest to God, thought he was going to punch me in the face. But I got him the glass of water. He chilled right down. He literally calmed right down. And then I think it was 2016 or 2017. I can't remember. I have it written down somewhere. He literally came by my station and went like, gave me the massivest hug without saying a word. But that's gratitude. You get to meet all sorts of interesting people and all sorts of interesting individuals at these things. So I hope that even if I have to wear a mask for 10 hours, I want to go to a con next year and be great and be able to be grateful for those again.
So yeah, I've never been to a convention or anything. So.
Oh, you should. Like, where do you live? Colorado, what you said? Oh, you're not that far from Vegas, and they've got one next August. You should book some time off. Yeah, you should. It's like they're holding it at Bally's this year, not at the Rio. You should totally try. I would encourage it. You could even drive there from Colorado.
Where was it? You kind of broke up a little bit.
Bally's.
I'm not sure where that is.
It's on the Strip.
The Strip.
Yeah, you don't have to gamble if you go to Vegas. I don't.
Oh, okay. You're talking about Vegas. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can drive there from where you are.
Yeah.
And you know, life's too short. We've definitely learned that life's too short, and we need to be grateful for what we've got when we've got it. And I spent a lot of money to go to Trek cons. but I'm grateful that I did so that I can have experiences to be grateful for. Like I told Jill about when I met Marina Sirtis in 2013 and the grateful gift that she gave me. I'm very, very grateful for the gift she gave me, because when you appear in the paper with somebody, especially a celebrity, you've got that for life. Or did I tell you that story?
Yeah, I think you mentioned it.
Yeah, and then it's just something, and I volunteered at a convention in Vulcan, and I met good people there, and including Leonard Nimoy's son, Garrett Wong. And it's something I'm really grateful for, because you make connections there and you make additional family there. And when you become involved in a fandom like Star Trek, when you dare to put your little footprint in the sand, like I did with this and everything else and the writings I've done and I'm going to do, you make yourself part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
So we are technically family now. What are your thoughts? I think I blew your mind. Poor thing.
I don't know. Just because I don't know. I don't typically have good relationships with fandoms, just because I want to like what I like, and there's going to be a lot of people who are like, well, you shouldn't like that. That's not real Star Trek, or that's not very good, or whatever. So, or that's like, that's too politically correct, or something.
Well, I don't see anything wrong with anything you just said. So, and I don't think we have any issues here, do we? I don't think so. We've gotten along.
No, we haven't had any issues here. So just like, I mean, it's mainly on like in Facebook groups and things. So
I mean, I try very hard to listen to suggestions, and I'm a little slow at implementing them just because I forget. So I ask that people write them down and send them to me, as well as tell me in here, because my memory's terrible. But I do care about the suggestions, and I write them down and I schedule them. They get carried out when I'm able to carry them out. No. Oh, who's this? Oh, is this Suki? Yay! Tell their joy, Suki.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome to the Gratitude Festival.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me.
I'm not wearing gold tonight because it is a festival, but I'm still Captain Heather.
Love it.
So how are you tonight?
Okay.
You're okay. Just okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Ended up working and getting a job at ice rink for a bit. I loved the job, but had some people who weren't showing up, so responsibility fell to me and a few other people. And it just got really stressful, so I quit.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. All I'm going to say is a team should fill out each other's strengths and weaknesses instead of working together. This team was very unfunctional, and my mind is telling me that I'm a failure, that
No, that's not.
I
I'm gonna quiet your mind right now. Okay, we're gonna do a little gratitude exercise. How about that? Oh, how about that? We're gonna do a little gratitude fun exercise. I'm gonna lead this. We're all gonna
Okay.
close our eyes. And we're gonna put our hands up so we can harness the chi. We're gonna inhale. Yeah, we're gonna inhale. And we're gonna think, hey, we're cool, we're awesome, we're all that. We've got to be grateful for ourselves and what we can get to this earth and to this universe. We're awesome Trek fans, we're awesome people, we're awesome. Given to this Mother Earth that we might fill it with love and ourselves and our gifts. We're gonna hold our breath for a minute. And then we're gonna exhale. And let all the negative crap go, spit it into the earth, amen. And then we're done. The negative crap is spit into the earth, it's dead.
Yeah, I like that. I needed that. Thanks.
There's the gratitude exercise.
I love it. Yeah, it's kind of funny how today was gratitude, because for me, I was like just glad that I have boundaries, glad that I know what I'm willing to put up with versus what I'm unwilling to put up with. And they can, find somebody else who can be more willing to put up with that kind of stuff, and I can find something else. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I'm grateful for my tolerance and my boundaries,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. And we're grateful for you.
Thanks. Appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you too. We're glad you came tonight. We're small, but we're mighty.
Yay. The more the merrier, for sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah, people are legit like saying, oh, you should do that. My mom was like, oh, you should do this over the holidays, but I don't think people need it. So
right on. So how's your all's day?
that's all right.
How is your guys' day?
Oh, it's all right. I'm prepping for a play that's being filmed Sunday.
Oh, fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, my day was good, quiet.
That's good. Right on.
Yeah,
Quiet is nice.
Yeah.
Went to work and then just kind of sat at my desk and worked on my own, trying to catch up on some back work I had let build up. So
Very good.
That's good.
Very good. Just to clarify, were you the stoic guy? Or weren't we talking about stoicism one time?
yeah.
Jake.
Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify.
Jake is always stoic, but he's also very wise and gentle, and we appreciate him so much.
Yeah, man, you're way too quiet sometimes. You got to speak up more and share more of that stuff.
I'm dead.
There's a time to share it. There's a time where it's kind of pointless because others won't exactly get it. But here it's always welcome, especially when you're among fellow, I think, at least myself, who likes to talk about that with other people. So,
Right.
I learned to, I mean, my whole existence and where I'm at right now is completely out of this world. That's how I feel. And when I talk about it, it doesn't make sense to a lot of people. And I'm only 26. So just imagining where I'm going to be in the future, I can't imagine because I don't know. That'll be really interesting because a lot of people are just, they're where they're at. And I'm not. I mean, so for me, sometimes it's just most of the time stay silent. And when I go on a tangent or something, that's when a lot of the helpful stuff is said. But, meh. Anyways.
That's okay. At 26, I didn't have my crap together either.
Right on. I know what I want. I'm not fully put together, but I'm definitely put together to where I operate at a very high functioning level, like professionalism wise. And so my tolerance, for example, is very low. And while people should have an opportunity to learn, I don't have 3 strikes. The most mercy or compassion that I have is once. And then I need to see a willingness and a spark. If I don't see that, then I can be like, bye, I can go find somebody else. And you can go with somebody else to learn that stuff, because I'm at, just like a lot of people tell me you're only 26. Like, heck, I started doing that work later. So like, no, I'm not perfect. I'm not put together all the way, but like I've learned a lot of stuff that just like puts me, I feel, and I've been told that I've been told that I'm not high functioning, but very good at what I do.
And well, the beauty of that, you are only 26. Jake and I are a lot older than you, and you have a lot of learning you can do, but you've done a lot of learning already, so you can take what you've learned and do a lot more learning, and you're never told to stop learning. And neither are Jake and I.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. 26, that was a very bad year for me.
Oh yes.
I was like jobless, I was homeless. That's actually kind of where, so I encountered stoicism before that, but that's kind of where it really, I really made it part of my life, was when I was homeless. So, but it helped calm the frustrations, and then it also helped me keep a somewhat of a straight path. So, but and I think especially like now, 2 years into COVID, I don't think anybody is feeling like themselves. I know I'm not.
So. No. I'm feeling wiser.
That's
COVID
good.
invites a lot of trauma because, like, I was already feeling like an outsider, like socially, because it's very hard to interact socially and everything because of my divergency, but at least I had work. But when COVID happened, I lost the work, and I'm I find it very difficult to interact socially virtually because it's sometimes hard to read cues because all you have is typed text. And I realized after some lost battles in the social arena, some very brutal battles in the social arena, I am absolute crap at socialization. So with my failures, I wrote essays about my failures. after spending time grieving. I took the grief and made some failure and my failures, and I made some essays out of my grief and my failures, and eventually the essays inspired this group. And we're on meeting 12 now. And hopefully a lot more meetings to come. We don't have merchandise or anything wicked sweet like that, but we have meetings. And I suppose I'm grateful for that. I suppose I have to be grateful for failure because it led to this. It led to some pretty important essays being released into the Trekkie fandom that I hope people will appreciate. And there are yet surprises to come, which I'm not going to talk about publicly yet.
Now you gotta tell me in DMs.
I cannot.
I'm just gonna keep badgering you. I'm kidding.
You'll know soon enough.
They can't just tell me like that. I mean, that's like so unfair. I'm kidding. I'm fine. That's cool.
Well, even the Guardian of Forever had its secrets. Even Cardassians have their secrets.
Boo! I'm kidding. We all do.
No, but what? And yeah. And I hope that, I can use, well, I did write something related to diversity today that was released today that you might enjoy. It's religious related, and I don't know if you're into religion, but I'll send you that later.
Yeah, would love to read it.
It talks about how God loves all of his children and the process that teaches his children to love each other.
Oh yes, I actually saw that. You posted about that. The something of Latter-day.
Yes.
Nice. Very good. Is that a cat?
That's a baby.
Kitty! No! It's a cat! Or is it? Is it really cat? Or is it an apparition or something else?
That is Jake's baby.
Shape-shifting form. They do say cats are aliens here to take over the world, so.
It could be a nasal from Harry Potter.
Totally! It could be a...
And Jake could be a wizard. We never know.
You're a wizard, Harry. Yes.
And Jake's just sitting there all amused by this. He could be a reincarnate of Dumbledore. Yes, I got Suki smiling. Anyway, are we all ready to watch, or should we wait for Suki to get back?
Hey, I'll be back, guys. I'm gonna do a call.
Okay, we're gonna probably watch. We're gonna watch.
Sounds good. I'll be back in a bit.
Would you like to watch?
Yeah, sure. So I need to queue it up. I'm not sure which season.
DS9 fascination. I hope you didn't mind our weirdness there. It definitely makes the meetings more fun being weird.
No, it's quite okay.
And perhaps you are a wizard, because it would explain why you're so gosh darn smart. But of course you can't tell me, it's all confidential, right?
Oh, why I'm so smart? I don't know. I just read a lot.
Anyway, I'm gonna mute for a minute to cue this thing. Let me see if I can, oh my goodness. This glass. season 3, episode 10, just in case you can't find it. I found it on Crave. I couldn't remember. Anyway, see you after. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm muting while the commercial.
Jake, how you doing?
Well, I'm finished.
Okay. Well, that was an interesting episode, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah, it was funny. So I'm not sure if this is the right pronunciation, but Siddiq and oh
Hannah?
yeah, were they a couple at this point, or
I don't know the history, but I know they were married at one point.
right? I was just wondering if they at this point in the show if they were a couple yet or not. Well, I assume they were.
I'm not sure, but it looked awfully comfortable kissing on the screen. So maybe they were.
I don't know. They kind of look a little awkward to me, just the way it.
Well, I mean, you have to be grateful for kissing because anybody can do it. It's perfectly accessible.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I'm sure it's fun. I've never kissed myself, but it's something a lot of people do, and I'm sure it's a lot of fun. And it was very fun seeing everything play out. It was sort of a fun pandemic that swept the station, but it was a very short pandemic. And that's another thing you can be grateful for. That pandemic was reasonably short. and very limited in how many it affected.
Mhm.
And you know what? There is a good spot at the end. Did you notice how Odo actually looked affected by the goodbye kiss Luoxana gave him? He looked affected.
Mhm.
He looked touched.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, I know Odo is usually well, he's a very inward person. He doesn't really show what's going on all that much. So.
Mm-hmm. But you know, and he's always usually trying to get away from Luoxana whenever she visits. But when she said, if you get tired of waiting, you know where I'll be, and such like that. And she kissed him, and he was so taken aback by that action. He didn't resist, he didn't pull away, he just accepted it. And then he looked touched and touched his lips like, oh, she thought of me that much to kiss me. Oh my. So that's something to be grateful for. A simple act of compassion.
Mhm.
Kitty. Oh, that kitty looks happy to see you.
I've been gone all day, so
So what were your favorite parts of the episode?
Hmm. Um. So yeah, I did like the kind of like the opening ceremony. I thought that was fun. So or well, there were. I kind of wish that we could have seen a little bit more about the Gratitude Festival and what it was all about,
Mhm.
because I was always kind of interested in like the Bajoran culture, but
Yeah, was it sort of like being grateful that the occupation ended? I'm not sure what it was about.
mhm. So I know they said that it was because Kira has said that her and Dax have been doing that for a couple years, so that must have been either it started like right after the occupation or it was it's just a regular part of their culture. But,
Yeah, maybe it was done like on Deep Space Nine when the Federation and Bajorans took control of it, but we never saw it until now.
right. And I'm not I don't not sure if we ever saw it again after for the rest of the show.
That's interesting. Why did they put that in? And where's Garrick? I mean, wouldn't he design clothes for it? That's interesting that they didn't put him in it either. I mean,
Mhm.
wouldn't it make sense to have a tailor design clothes for the festival?
Yeah, it would.
Oh, the kitty agrees. The kitty likes Garrick. Grateful for cats. I've never seen such a vocal agreement that Garrick should be included in an episode before. Yay, kitty, I concur. It's so precious. Yeah, I thought we could have seen more of that gratitude festival because we didn't really get an understanding of, I agree with you, we didn't really get an understanding of what it's about. We suddenly got this episode about, oh, we have this festival that everybody's discussing this festival, but nobody really explains what it means. And all of a sudden we get Major Kira holding these bottles and starting this fire and chanting these words. And we really don't get a brief history or anything.
Mhm.
And usually in ceremonies, like, military ceremonies, Remembrance Day, other ceremonies, we at least get a bit of a brief explanation, like they have the Flanders Fields poppy, the poppy poem on Remembrance Day or on 9/11. They talk about what happened or different ceremonies. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Mm,
Could they have talked about the occupation a little bit and the history of why the Gratitude Festival exists? Could they have squeezed that in somewhere and taken out some sort of other bit?
Um, yeah, they could have. I know I would have. I know I was. I know I would have liked to learn more about, yeah, like I said, like the culture, what, um, besides like the little bits that we got, what the Gratitude Festival was about. Um, so, when did it start? I mean, was it like what you were saying with, was it gratitude that the occupation was over? Was it always a part of Bajoran culture? If so, how did they practice it underneath the Cardassians?
Yeah, I mean, this was supposed to be about a gratitude festival, and we got Sex in the City on Star Trek, basically. And I will say that because there was a tiny bit of ceremony, but basically all everybody did was catch a bit of a flu and make out and fight over romantic stuff. So that's basically Sex in the City on Star Trek. And it was supposed to be a festival about gratitude. Gratitude for what? So I think they missed the mark. I don't know. Maybe I'm sounding too harsh. I don't know.
Yeah, that. So yeah, I think there is a mark missed there. I don't know. Maybe they could have had like a show like 1 year about the actual Gratitude Festival, and then they could have done this. But so it'd be interesting to if any of the books like cover the Gratitude Festival anymore or anything.
Yeah, it's like they talked about the occupation and like how Garrick was affected by it, how Odo was affected by it, how Ducat was affected by it, how Major Kira's mother was affected by it, but they didn't really explain what the Gratitude Festival was for. They just said, oh, we have this festival that we've done for 3 years. Well, what's it for? Is it like a memoriam of the end of the occupation and all that was lost, or what is it?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm too harsh, but I'm a hardcore Trekkie, and it felt like there could have been so much. I thought the makeout scenes and the fighting was cute, but what is the Gratitude Festival for? When you have a Gratitude Festival, what's the reason for the festival? It's like, grateful for what? It's sort of a memorial. What's the memorial for? What's the celebration for?
Yeah, I know. So I don't know, having a show just about like a gratitude festival is almost kind of difficult in a way, just because I don't know, I guess people think to have like an entertaining like show you need conflict. So that the whole making out all that provided the conflict for the episode. So
But it's really like, if you're going to have a festival, a memorial or gratitude festival, what are they grateful for, though? The Bajoran Gratitude Festival, does it mean they're grateful for the Bajorans being free, or what's? like at least in Picard, as much as people hate Picard, at least they had a day about memorializing the attacks on Mars. And I don't care if it's a spoiler, people can get over it. But you and I have watched it and we're here, so whatever. They have days probably memorializing the attack, where the Borg attack where Picard got kidnapped and used. They have anniversaries for first contact. They have different celebrations. Let me think of things. They have the Millennium Gate. They have different things to memorialize different events and people and places. They have Archer Space Dock in Discovery. Whoops, spoiler, who cares? They can get over it. But it's like, what is the Bajoran Gratitude Festival for? What is it about? Besides people partying and making out and stuff, what's the story behind it? I'd like to know.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a little too passionate. I don't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead, speak
That's
about it.
okay. I know. I know. Me too. I would like to know what it was all about. So.
Like, I don't know. I mean, Deep Space Nine's a great show, but they didn't really explain like certain things very well. Like the Bell riots. They even explained about the Bell riots being one of the landmark reasons why Starfleet came to be, and when Gabriel Bell got killed, boop, there went everything about Starfleet. So I don't know if they'll ever do a follow-up to Deep Space Nine. Maybe they could. Maybe they should. Even with Aaron Eisenberg gone, they could. If the actors wanted to do it, they could do like a bit of a many years later type of thing. But like they could explain the reason why these occasions within the Deep Space Nine world happened. I don't know if they explain. Do they explain about anything like that in the What You Leave Behind thing? I haven't seen that still.
What's that?
The What You Leave Behind thing, or the documentary? Have you seen the documentary that they made?
You mean what we left what we left behind?
Yeah, sorry, What We Left Behind. Have you seen that?
Yeah. So I've seen it. Have you not seen it? Or
No, I've never had the money to.
So there was a I know there was a brief so they did like some kind of like writer's room.
Yeah,
So they did like a hypothetical writer's room where they had like a season 8 like many years later. So I think they mainly did the pilot for that, for like a hypothetical season 8. So it was pretty interesting. So I don't want to spoil it, so I won't say anything.
yeah. Hopefully someday I'll be able to get my hands on a copy that's affordable. I know it's silly, Star Trek fan. I don't know if it's silly or not. Some Star Trek fans can't afford a lot of things, like in terms of merchandise and DVDs and stuff, but it is what it is. But I'm very grateful to what I've got and what I can have and what kind of fan I can be. So maybe someday I'll be able to do more. Anyway, so the episode. What else did you like about it?
So I know another moment that I liked was Cisco and his son. Pretty much anytime that those two are on, they because he's like such a genuine dad, and I don't know, it's just kind of weird to, I mean, it's kind of hard to think about just because He always seems firm, but you can always tell that um, he he's really trying to do the best for his son, really. So that was.
Yeah, like he was like, okay, about this breakup that Jake had. It's like, okay, like it's a breakup, but you know what? It's not the end of life. It's not the end of all things just because you had a breakup. Maybe you'll meet someone else.
Mhm,
It's life. You'll be okay.
mhm. So, and I went. He was talking about Kira. It's like because that's just an awkward situation. I mean, I imagine for both um, Commander Cisco and like Major Kira, just because what do you do when like you're when the boss's son is like hitting on you?
Well, Cisco, I think, is one of the best captains out there. I mean, really, he is with all the captains that have ever stood on the bridge, sat in the captain's chair, one of the best. Because he really had to rise out of ashes to take captaincy. Lost his whole life, lost his home, lost everything he knew, and then he literally had to rebuild his life from ashes.
Mhm.
And he did very well. He had to go through growing pains, of course, which we will explore in the new year. Definitely. We are going to look at that. It's on the schedule. And remind me of what you wanted for the schedule. Message it to me. I'll forget. But when you have to rebuild your life from ashes, it's growing pains, but it's possible. And you can make beautiful things out of ashes.
Mhm.
So kudos to Cisco.
Mhm. So, especially going to a place where he didn't want to be, because initially he didn't want to be there.
Well, you know, and this may seem harsh, life sometimes may put us where we're uncomfortable. Life sometimes may put us where we don't want to be. Life sometimes may give us challenges that we don't want to deal with. But what are we going to do? Just not deal with them and just sit there and be lazy? No, we got to live. We got to deal with what we got. And that's what it is.
Mhm. Right.
Because if we don't stand up and live, we waste away and die.
Right. Yeah.
And that sounds harsh, but we want to live, right?
Right. So, well, I was well jobless for a year and like homeless for 3 months. So that's
Yeah, it's sad, but you know what? You crawled out of it.
eventually.
You had to learn to overcome a lot of things, including yourself, but you did.
So, well, I don't know. I remember when I was driving to the homeless shelter for the first time and just thinking about it. I was like, because I had spent like I think that same day I spent like the last little bit of like any money that I had. So I had no money um, at all. Like I didn't even have pennies. So that was kind of scary.
You know, it is scary. But you know, you still had your will, you still had your heart, you still had your belief. Deep down inside, it was there, but it might have been quiet. But you had it there. And life can be horrible sometimes. And you know, it's okay to take time to just sit and think and grieve and be sad. No shame in that. Everybody does it, Jake. It's really very realistic. But It's really important that we don't let the grief overcome us and dominate us to the point where we can't function anymore.
Mhm.
If we lose ourselves in the grief forever, then we cease to be human.
Right.
And that's a terrible, I don't know if that's a terrible thing to say or not, but we need to be grateful that for the emotion that we have and the heart that we have, because deep down inside, all of us have a heart and all of us can wake our hearts and grow and use it to do great things, even if we don't think we can.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's interesting. That's what we need to be grateful for. We need to be grateful that we are alive and that we are mostly well, even with this nation in turmoil, and that we can do what we can do, even pulling together with even those who have so very little, that we can pull together and do what we can for the world.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, you're making sense.
Okay. Yeah. Like, I just hope people appreciate the amount of self-resilience they have and the emotional resilience they have, that they can develop themselves in ways that they might never dream. Maybe this pandemic is a blessing that will give people the opportunity to do just that, to develop themselves emotionally, because with as busy as the world was, when did people take the time to do that?
Mhm.
So maybe we have some gratitude for the pandemic so people can focus on themselves a little more. Anyway, what are your thoughts?
Um, well, I know it certainly has, I think it has had, has made like a lot of people think about their lives and things, because I don't know, where are they calling it the great resignation, with because employers are having like hard time getting people to become employed. That's,
Yeah.
so I don't know what it's like in Canada, but down
Well, it's
here.
about the same, and it's not good that employers are having a hard time getting people to get jobs again. But I think we're moving too quickly to open things up again. I mean, as I said, my provincial government is talking about easing restrictions for Christmas. Just the premier wants his personal Christmas, and that's why he's talking this way, so he can have his personal Christmas. Because current regulations wouldn't allow him to have his personal Christmas, but he did this in the summer so he could have a summer, and look what happened. We had a huge surge of COVID again, and it was a bad idea. I don't think we should go any further than we do. In fact, maybe we should go back a little more into lockdown, simply because we want to be safe. I mean, it's getting so bad again everywhere. Maybe we should consider another lockdown. And I know that will be so hard on mental health, but for the sake of 2022 and 2023 and onward, I don't know. Would it be better to go into lockdown now and preserve those years? Quite possibly, yes. But I'm not a health expert. These are my own personal thoughts. But we've lost so much already. And if we keep being irresponsible, we're going to lose so much more and have even less to be grateful for than we do now. But those are my thoughts entirely. And I'm making you look so gloomy right now. And I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't know. So my concerns with prolonged lockdowns. I mean, at least I think in the beginning, when we didn't understand, and when we didn't have vaccines, and when
Mhm.
um, people really were prepared to deal with the pandemic. I mean, we didn't really have the tools. We didn't have masks. We didn't have a lot of other things. But now we have vaccines now. We have masks now. We have I mean, there are tools that can be utilized. And my concern is, given that, how economies would be affected by further lockdowns.
That's true, but even if we don't have lockdowns, we should still have masks. I mean, like, I've recently volunteered at a trade show, and trade shows and stuff can be done as long as there's precautions in place. And I think conventions can be done too, as long as there's precautions in place. I think everything can be done as long as there's precautions in place. But we all have to be careful, and we all have to be wise about using the precautions. And the problem is that some people don't want to use the precautions, and that puts everybody at risk. So we need the vaccine passports. We need, like, I had to show my vaccine passport that proved I had vaccines before I could even get in to volunteer. If we actually applied the level of responsibility, then we could have nice things. But there will always be people out there who don't think we could have nice things. But if we can actually be responsible as a nation and be grateful for the level of responsibility and care that people add to the events, then maybe we can have events and have some of that mental health back. Schools, masks, people need to show care to schools, that students need their masks or their little distance bubbles or whatever, but people aren't doing that. And, you know, people need to be more aware of the mental health resources out there, like, and the different people who are running podcasts and websites and YouTubes and whatever that talk about resilience. And I don't know if you've seen the club page, but I recently posted about, I don't know, Nana Visitor. She does a lot of talking and giving counsel. Like, she's not a psychologist, but she loves to give Mama Nana advice on her Instagram. And she runs a podcast with her son, Jingle. And she's done 4 episodes so far. And it has little bits and pieces that are very good for mental health. And it's amazing. And they're also beautiful. If you type in mental health hotlines and everything, there's stuff all over the world about that. So if we use the right tools and make good toolboxes, I think we could go out of prolonged lockdowns. But as for a holiday like this, maybe we need the extra precautions. We don't need to literally cater to premiers' wishes in order to have a blown holiday, to have a 5th wave. But maybe we could have a convention if precautions like the ones in Vegas are applied. Because I heard Vegas was very safe.
Oh, is it?
I did. Like, the stars, they had distance. Like, they were in little plexiglass, and there was plexiglass between them and the people. I heard it was safe. I didn't go because the border was closed. Maybe next year.
Unfortunately, I didn't go. I don't know. I'm still kind of leery about any sort of like big indoor gatherings. So
that's true. That's true. You know, maybe, you know, you never know. Maybe if you have some ideas, maybe we should do something about a virtual one. I don't know.
I know whenever I'm in it, like, I know I was in like Starbucks like earlier today. I was getting my I'll get like my chai tea on my way into work, and there was like a gathering of like people like waiting for drinks. So I went all the way to the back just because I was like, there's just way too many people there. So I try to be, I'm still pretty careful. So
yeah, America's opening up way too fast, I think.
Well, for the most part, I think we've been open since like summer, almost.
Yeah,
So,
but we should be grateful that, people are starting to feel secure, but I just hope that everybody's being safe.
mhm. So, 'cause I know, let's see, Colorado, because I don't know, the United States is a little bit different just because it's kind of like a state by state thing. It's not really nationwide. So, but I know Colorado, as soon as like, because they opened up vaccines for everybody on like April 1st. And then like by May 30th, everything was pretty much open again. They took away the mask mandates. They I think they took away restrictions on large gatherings. I think even indoor activities they opened those fully up. So at least in Colorado, it's been fully open since like I think June, May or June.
Goodness, I just, we need to be grateful that people think they're safe enough to do that, but we also need to be aware that life is still tough.
Mm-hmm. So, but I know even now I'm so usually there's probably about 35%. Probably like anytime like in the store or something, about 35% of the people are wearing masks, I think. So
Yeah,
and I'm one of them, but so and I've gotten some dirty looks for wearing mine.
yeah. I just, this is interesting. Like, how many episodes dealt with illness and Trek that people didn't really take proper precautions? I mean, really, Julian, you should have been more insistent about checking those results and checking Jadzia out, but you just let her go without a word, and then chaos unfolded. Bad, Julian. But
So
yeah, what?
and that's kind of where I kind of come back to my comments earlier. It just I mean, so it's fine for us because we know what happened during the episode. But I mean, just think about Julian. He didn't know something was amiss. I mean, who knows? It could have been anything. She might have, I don't know, had something weird to drink. Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, this is why vigilance is so important. We need to not only trust the medical equipment, we also need to trust our eyes and our ears and our senses, because technology doesn't always work. Star Trek.
Mhm.
We need to be aware of the fact that sometimes we can't rely on technology. We have to rely on what we see and hear and feel and all that, our instincts.
Mhm.
We need to be grateful for those. And even those with those physical impairments, if somebody's lacking a sense, they have heightened senses in other ways. So they are still valuable to society and can contribute because their senses are heightened in other ways.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about the episode or gratitude?
Not really. I know, I kind of addressed my main thoughts on the episode. I mean, it's kind of hard just because, um, I mean, it's a good episode and I enjoyed the gratitude festival. Um, but there's a lot of the other stuff like making out and stuff. I was like, okay, it's kind of hard to talk about that.
It was kind of Sex in the City on Star Trek. We kind of missed the history lesson, and that's disappointing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? We've had a good time here tonight, I think. You just want to call it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was really great spending time with you and Suki, and I love spending time with this group, no matter how many we get. I love it. I'm grateful for all of you, and I don't know yet if we'll do more. Depends on if there's any more surprises. But it's the Christmas season, so who knows? We'll see.
Mhm. All right. So,
Tell their
so
joy.
I don't,
Tell their joy.
Pelter Joy, is that with the D or, Pelta Joy or
Eldor joy.
Beldor? So, okay. Feldor Joy.
Heldor joy with a P.
Felder, Felper?
Held. Heldor joy.
Eldor Joy.
Yay, you got it. So what were you saying?
Oh, so from the 23rd to the 3rd, I'm not sure what,
Yeah.
so I don't know if I might be visiting my parents in Michigan at that time. I don't know.
We weren't planning, I wasn't planning anything in that realm of time anyway, I don't think. Because I want people to have holidays and
mhm. So my parents, they don't get great internet, so
yeah, neither do mine. But my mom was like, oh, you need to do this over the holidays. And it's like, I don't know if people need it. Because they need Christmas with their families and stuff. And I like Christmas too. But I might post something, a poem or something. We'll see.
mhm.
Anyway, yeah, no, it's fine. I understand. You don't need to worry about it.
All right. Well, it was great seeing you guys. Pelder Joy.
Tell their joy.
So and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Have fun with your parents.
Thank you.
And be prepared to dive into pilot season in January.
Will do. All right. Take care. See you next year.
And if there's any more episodes, if there's any more gatherings in December before the 23rd, I will post them. There could be, because you never know what Captain Heather or Santa has cooked up.
Ready. Take care. Thank you.
Bye. Tell their joy, everyone. Thank you for attending this wonderful gratitude festival. Good night.